On this episode of Lapeef, Let's Talk.
Don't protect black women. We don't want to hear none of that shit no more. Cool. Let's play it out exactly how it's going to play out. Since we all came to an understanding that it don't fucking mean anything anymore, let's let the conversation play out how it's going to play out.
We all came to an understanding where you made
I'm with it. I'm, you know me. I'm wait.
I want to ask
y'all. We're gonna move on. Oh, we're gonna move on to the next topic, y'all. Nah, we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on, really.
JR, I got, bro. I just gotta ask the panel this one question, bro. And I'll be no. Listen, I just want to know that anybody else see this. I made a point, JR. I promise you, this is relevant. I made a point about men and their tone. I also talked about how men, when they're speaking to women, we try and come in smooth. It's not until we put a little bass in our voice. Am I the only person that noticed? Once Mr. Logic came in and used his big voice, the response back was completely different to him. Okay, come on now. I don't want to do this.
Okay, see,
I know for a fact. Listen, okay,
every time I ask somebody to tell me the thing that
you watch King Talk, listen. I said this earlier.
You watch, so I'm not going to do this with you today. Tell me, what are the shows?
Can I ask you something?
No.
Okay,
tell
cool.
me the shows.
King Talk is the first show. King
where
Talk.
No one ever jumps in. How much you want to bet?
How much do you
want to bet?
What did I just say?
No one ever jumps in. I will find you clips.
What did I just say? I said when they do, they back up and say, "Excuse me, my bad. You go." They don't continue down this path. What we continually see here every freaking Thursday. And then you always say, well, just on this show, it's supposed to be WWE. Somebody's supposed to come off the top turnbuckle with a
say that. I didn't say that.
You just in presidential debates, they interrupt each other. Are you kidding me? What's the purpose of having a moderator there,
you are not about to say what I said.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't say this is WWE.
Ay, Dios, por favor.
No, let it go. Because on this panel right here, is 25-75%. Goddamn, you 25.
Okay, I heard you, Kay.
I'm talking to Chicago because he's like,
I know, but everybody heard you say you didn't say that.
You got Logic disappearing.
JR,
you literally have him fading away.
Saying that you said something that you didn't say.
Look at Logic fading away. This is what you did.
I don't understand. Like what? Who? What?
Look at Logic fading away.
Okay,
you're literally talking him off the screen.
Okay. I just think that. It's the over talking. It's the keep going on. At some point in time, somebody has to make the sacrifice to roll back a little bit.
Okay, so why does it always have to be me?
It's not never you. That's the thing. So when you start doing a step back a little bit, then I think you might start seeing a difference. But I don't think you see the difference.
JR, I'm not even gonna say anything because.
Sometimes you just gotta agree to disagree. I think we can move on.
No. Agree to disagree is some bullshit. Look, she's wrong. Call it.
No. I get that, but you can't. You're not gonna. Kay is on her position, and that's where she's gonna be.
But she's
allowed to be that. And
there's nothing that you can do.
And there's nothing. We're not going to argue.
What are you going to do? Any of the other women accountable?
We're going to just keep talking in circles, or are we going to move on?
Right.
No, we're not just going to move on. And this ain't how we do it.
Well, y'all keep talking in circles.
And this is the perfect example. And this is the beautiful thing about it, because we can go down these rabbit holes and have real conversations.
But that's the dopeness of this topic. Show. I just want to return back to the topic that you actually asked. That was more interesting than kind of the back and forth who's over talking who. Let's just reset the button. Let's just push the reset, and
or we can
re-ask your question, and then that way we can continue that conversation.
See how Melanie was being very respectful. And
but it's still no. Because the point of the matter is that, and this is the perfect example of illustrating that women refuse, no matter what, under any circumstance, to hold other women accountable. And this is why they find themselves in a position that they find themselves in every single day.
Big fact.
How did I not hold anyone accountable? I just said, why don't we just move on from the topic? That is a form of accountability. That is a form of accountability.
It's not just you.
I'm gonna say I'm gonna say this. I don't choose to hold no grown man or grown women accountable, especially if they're stuck in their ways. It's a waste of energy and breath. And I've said this plenty of times. It doesn't make sense for me.
Cool.
Like they're not
wow.
I just friends and telling me is who I hold accountable.
Cool.
Yeah, and I
that's
gotta be
beautiful.
honest. I just don't like arguing. I've like I said, I've told everybody I'm 40 years old. I'm at a place in life where, unless it's really, really important to me, like it's a core value, belief, or my life is on the line, I just don't have the energy to argue. So sometimes it's not that we don't want to hold someone accountable, but you have to understand your audience. You have to understand sometimes if you headbutt a person, they're just going to headbutt you back.
But
Not everyone,
but you definitely argue with Mr. Logic.
Hold on, y'all. Let her finish, y'all. Let her finish.
No, this is a quick question.
Hold on. Let her finish first. Let her finish. Go ahead, Melon.
That's so cat.
But what I mean is that people have different personalities. People have different styles and way they talk. Some people are more stubborn, some people are more easygoing. Like, this gets deep into psychology, so you can't just say general. I was actually going to answer your original question and agree with you with what you said, but it kind of got lost, and I think that was a better conversation to have, because this can go on infinitum, because it involves feelings and it involves emotions. Honestly, the conversation got too emotional for me, and I just wanted to state of facts and actual reasoning, opinions, and kind of dialogue and debate. That was just was getting very emotional, and it just was draining. And a lot of us are dealing with a lot in our real lives. We just don't have the emotions to give to a topic like this that we're not that interested in.
Hey, Melanie, isn't the purpose of your videos? I see a lot of your videos. Isn't the purpose of your videos of holding women accountable?
No.
Okay, so now if I can show you videos that you got specifically saying holding women accountable, you're quoting Kevin Samuels. I didn't see this. So now you have an opportune time to hold a woman accountable that you see right now that's been a distraction to the conversation, and you fail to do that. So now look,
I thought I did, because I guess maybe I think what the difference is that maybe the style of how I did it, maybe you have an expectation that I'm going to go in on her or start cussing her out or like shut the F and raise my voice.
You ain't said nothing to her.
I just said, but that's when
you ain't said, excuse me, honey. You ain't said, we didn't expect you to dive in and do the WWF on her, but you ain't said nothing. Nothing. You ain't said one word.
Yeah, she don't have to cuss you out.
Talking about, you ain't said none of that. Nothing.
I mean, okay, so let's just be honest. I mean, some of us have talked to them about their tone, and just, you can say what you want to say, just don't cut them off. Why am I going to repeat it 10 times? Like, y'all are trying to change these women, and like, men or women, we shouldn't be changing them if they're showing us them. Like, I don't get that. Like, we should just, as I said, I'm not going to waste my breath over the same thing over and over. I've already brought up. Like, I don't think we should, as women.
You know what the beauty of that is now? Now, we don't want to hear no more complaining about women, about how black men ain't protecting them. We don't want to hear no more complaining about women as far as men not coming to the table. Why is men feeling like this? Why don't men want to let women in their spaces to have these conversations? Because when y'all get up here, y'all be capping. And I'm not saying you specifically, Q, but I'm talking about women in general. This is the prime example of what we illustrating. Okay, cool. We gonna take this exactly how it is. However it play out is how it play out. No more complaining. No more running in the victim Olympics. No more whining about it. No more complaining about how men are treating women. Black men don't protect black women. We don't want to hear none of that shit no more. Cool. Let's play it out exactly how it's going to play out. Since we all came to an understanding that it don't fucking mean anything anymore, let's let the conversation play out how it's going to play out.
We all came to an understanding where you made
I'm with it. I'm getting on me. I'm with
we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to the next topic, y'all. Nah, we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on, really.
JR, I just gotta ask the panel this one question. And I'll be quiet. No. Listen, I just want to know that anybody else see this. I made a point, JR. I promise you this is relevant. I made a point about men and their tone. I also talked about how men, when they're speaking to women, we try and come in smooth. It's not until we put a little bass in our voice. Am I the only person that noticed? Once Mr. Logic came in and used his big voice, the response back was completely different to him.